New Nation Goddess NNG. Find just what you seek. 8 frequencies of elevation. Reach your highest frequency. She serving healing and education. Uplifting and motivating. NNG. New Nation Goddess. Hey, yo, check this. You are now tuned in to the Transcend NNG podcast with your host, Brittany Walker. New episodes in Wealth and Wellness Wednesdays.
So Houston, happy Wealth and Wellness Wednesday, everybody. You have reached the Transcend with NNG podcast, where I am your host, Brittany Walker, also known as New Nation Goddess. Welcome to episode 5 of season 3, where today we are going to be talking about, are you addicted to banned foods? Yes, we are going there. We are taking it there. Why? Because there are so many foods that we consume in the United States that have ingredients that are banned in other countries. And we're not talking about 1 or 2 ingredients, guys. We're talking about over 100 ingredients that are banned in other countries that are in common foods that we have been eating our entire lives, that our parents ate, our grandparents ate, and now we're feeding it to ourselves, our kids, our grandkids, and things of that sort. So we're going to be talking about that on this good Wealth and Wellness Wednesday. It's going to be a great way to wrap up the month. It is Wednesday, May 31st. Again, Wealth and Wellness Wednesday. We're going to be talking about the 8 frequencies of elevation. Number 4, which is environmental awareness, being aware of what you're putting in and on your body, what you're consuming, using the environment to really have a sustainable life, and not just consuming these chemicals or all these things that are being put in our face that we feel like are common things that we need to eat, or things that are put on TV or on the commercials that we're being brainwashed to consume. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and get into it because I'm on fire and I'm ready. So we always like to kick off each episode with the I am power statement. I representing inspiration, A representing affirmation, and M representing manifestation. And today's I am power statement is, I am open to receiving the information about the items that we consume and gain a better understanding of how they may contribute to my health. Ashe. And so there it is. We don't have an actual book for today, but I definitely want to drop a quote from my good old godfather in my head, Malcolm X. Shout out, his birthday was about 12 days ago or so rest in power. But one of my favorite quotes from him, he talks about reading a lot, some of my favorite quotes, but he has this one quote: when I is replaced with W and E, or if you want to say with we, even illness becomes wellness. Sit on that. When I is replaced with WE, even illness becomes wellness. We as a collective have to work together so we all can have wellness in our community. Not just I, not just you, not just she, he, them, they, all of us, we. All right. So typically the tea of the day is the cramp elixir from our organization, Kick Cramps Ass. But today we are actually sipping on this very large 32-ounce jar of detox tea. Yes, we are detoxing. It is imperative that you detox frequently. We recommend doing it every 3 months, which is every season. So spring, summer, winter, fall, we're detoxing. Some people do it more frequently. You could do it once a month. You could do it once a week. You could do it once or twice a year, but it is extremely important to detox the body. So I want to give a special shout out to Dr. Holistic. Sorry if I'm covering my mouth. For those of you who are on YouTube and Spotify, you can see on the video, I'm holding it up to the screen. I have a parasite cleanse and I have a tummy tea cleanse. That's a 14-day cleanse. So 2 weeks that I will be detoxing and getting rid of unwanted chemicals and things in the body. You thinking, well, you're plant-based. Why do you need a detox? There's still vegan plant-based food there's still vegan junk food. There's still things that add cholesterol, that's fried, that has gluten in it, that adds to stubborn belly fat. There's chemicals in a lot of vegan food, genetic engineering. So these are things that you need to be considered, or you need to consider if you're practicing a vegan lifestyle. Just because you're vegan doesn't make you healthy. Being plant-based makes you healthy because you cut out all of the chemicals, all of the added ingredients, all of the ingredients that are not the healthiest for you, because there's still vegan items that have high corn fructose syrup in it. High corn fructose syrup is not what it is. It is the leading killer in our foods. It is literally fueling cancer, diabetes, stroke, like heart disease, high cholesterol, clogged arteries. It's pumping all of that into your system because high corn fructose syrup is not what it is. And it's in all concentrated beverages. It's in a lot of items that are on the shelves in the grocery store because they need that item in there to maintain long shelf life. These are things that we have to be privy to, guys, and you can't keep throwing it to the side and ignoring it, because you're not going to want to ignore it if a diagnosis comes up in your body. And you may think, oh, I'm repeating the same things that my grandparents did. And if you've been watching this podcast for all 3 seasons, you have heard me say you got to unlearn those conditioned traits that you learn from your parents, your grandparents, and your elders. Because if you're getting the same diseases or you're having the same negative health outcomes, it's something that you're repeating as well. So we need to learn how to reverse that. But first, you got to recognize what it is. And you first start recognizing it by reading your labels. So with our environmental awareness, we just want to become more aware of what we're putting in our bodies and use the actual earth resources so that we can have a healthy lifestyle. We can have life longevity. We can bask in our wealth. Okay, guys? So shout out to, again, Dr. Holistic, aka Dr. Bobby Price, because I am consuming this. Guys, when I say this is, I'm scared to even take another sip because, baby, it's so bitter. It is so nasty. I'm going to be really honest. It is not the tastiest thing, but what it's going to do for your body is worth it, okay? Ooh, I got to catch that flavor. Might need to add some date syrup or some agave in that. I know you're not supposed to be adding an extra, but baby, that is super, super bitter. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. I'm going to be doing a lot of reading today. A lot of reading. So I apologize for those of you who are watching. If I'm not looking directly into the camera, I want to make sure that I'm giving you these details, because some of these things I don't want to skip over. I don't want to misinform you, and I want to make sure I'm giving you the proper information. So let's go ahead and get into it for today. Now, America, if you don't know, is considered the fat country, the obese country, the unhealthiest country, because we have the most diseases in our country. And if you really pay attention to those diseases, they're correlated with our diet and our nutrition. All right. Now, on average, when I was younger, I was born in the 80s, so I'm an OG millennial. So when I was younger, you didn't see as many obese people walking around. You didn't see that many overweight people walking around. But in just 20 to almost 30 years later, guys, not even 20, I'm going to say 30 going on 40 years later, there are so many people that are unhealthy because of what they're consuming in this country. And it's become normalized for people to be overweight and obese based off of what they're consuming. It's a difference when you grow up and you say, hey, everybody's big boned. This is the way we are. This is the structure of our family. However, if you start changing certain traditions and certain things in your body, you can still have your structure, and there's nothing wrong with that. You are a beautiful person. Don't let nobody take that from you. But you also don't want to add additional things to your body that's going to hinder your health in the long run. I know many people who are considered plus size models, as I put up my quotation mark fingers, or somebody that's considered big boned or thick, that are super healthy and have super healthy bodies and have gotten rid of the unhealthy fat in their body, the fat that's holding on to disease, the visceral fat, that part that's in between the belly button and above your vagina area, that little stubborn area, or even if you're a male, above your genitals. That stubborn fat that doesn't want to go anywhere, that fat is holding on to disease. That is visceral fat because it's taking in all the cholesterol, all the unwanted sugars and salts and chemicals, and it's just staying there and it's storing. So those are things that we do want to get rid of. Now, the United States has the most largest numbers in being overweight, obese, and deaths related to nutrition. According to the Centers for Disease and Prevention, or the CDC, 41.9% of Americans were obese as of March 2020. So that's 3 years ago. So that number, I'm almost positive, probably went up, because this is like before COVID, guys. This is when COVID just started making its way to the United States. So imagine all of 2020, all of 2021 were people that became depressed, that started eating more, or eating a whole bunch of junk food because you're stressed out about what's going on in the world, what's going on with work, what's going on in family. You're stuck in your house. You can't get up nowhere. You can't go nowhere. It probably led to higher obesity rates. They have not updated it yet, so I'm very curious to see where did these rates jump to. Now, out of the 10 leading causes of death in the United States, 60% of these causes are related to nutrition. Catch that. 60% of the leading deaths in the United States are surrounded by nutrition. Think about that. Just think about it. So you're looking at the commercial and you see them dripping, juicy looking wings, seeing that burger with that broiler juice that's on the broiler and the juice just glistening off the burger. You know, you see that mac and cheese in the commercial where they pull up the fork and then you see the string of cheese just looking so delectable. That's selling you guys on things that are not healthy for your body. You can still make really great things that are directly from plants and things from the earth that are from your environment, that are healthy for you, that are not going to lead and contribute to these high numbers that are soaring in the United States. Now, according to the healthdata.org website, roughly 11 million people died from nutrition related to diseases in 2017. 11 million people died, guys, because of nutrition related diseases. That's a really, really high number. And if anybody doesn't find that alarming, if you don't realize that's some form of capitalism, if you don't realize that that's some form of population control, if that's not some form of like enslavement, you have to wake up and realize, why are these major companies, these capitalist companies feeding us all of this shit that we don't need? Because it's going to keep doctors paid. It's going to keep hospitals filled. It's going to keep pharmaceutical companies paid. It's going to allow Western medicine to continue to take over. Capitalism, white supremacy. It goes on and on. I don't know how many more examples you guys need that they're coming for us. They've been coming for us. They use us up for our intelligence, for our brain power, for our creativity, for our physical ability. And then they pump us with bullshit that we can only afford based off of the whack ass salaries that you're giving. And then in turn, after y'all have worked us for 60, 70 years and we can get our little funky ass retirement checks, then by that time I have all these fucking diseases because of all the shit that I've been putting in my body, or the convenience of I have to work 10 to 12 hours to survive. And then the only thing that's open when I get off is fast food. And then it's cheap and affordable too. So it works out in my benefit. But then consuming that fast food for decades on decades on decades leads to me dying anyway. And maybe a little bit more painful, a little bit more faster. Guys, we gotta wake the fuck up. Wake up. It's here. It's there. It's everywhere. And for some reason, we're still blinded. And we still proceed to move when you know that this information is out here. There are over 100 banned foods that are banned in other countries, but is legal in the United States. And the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, the motherfuckers that are supposed to be helping us and making sure that we're consuming healthy items, are approving these things. Wake the fuck up, guys. I mentioned Dr. Bobby Price, Dr. Holistic. Y'all, he used to work for the FDA. If you go look up interviews about him, shout out to Anthony O'Neill, The Table with Anthony O'Neill. I watched an interview with Dr. Bobby Price, aka Dr. Holistic, on Anthony's page. And when I was learning what I was learning, it was things that I already knew. It's things that I have been learning over the latter years. But just to hear an actual former FDA employee try to school us and wake us up, and people still not listening. That's what's crazy to me. You have somebody that actually used to work for the organization that approves our food that's putting us onto game. I'm going to be sure to actually include, shout out again to Anthony O'Neill and Dr. Holistic. I'm going to include the link to that episode in the description of this, of our episode that we're listening to now. So you guys can take some additional time just to go listen to that. It's under an hour. I think it's like 40 something minutes. You know, that's a show that you would watch on Netflix. That's a podcast you could be listening to. That's your drive home from work. You know what I'm saying? Like, make time to take in this information so you can do better for yourself. Because when we know better, we do better, right? So let's talk about some of these banned foods. We have high corn fructose syrup. I don't like this thing. It is in all these items that are on the shelves. It's in most of the items that I consumed as a kid, which probably led to my diabetes being onset in my 20s. Okay? So this is the silent devil. If you ever even watched the show, it just left my head. Because I talked about this last season. Jordan Peele. Let me look it up real quick. Al Pacino, Jordan Peele show, but it's pretty much about people that are the Nazis come into play, and they talk about how the Nazis started taking down people outside of what we learned about the Holocaust. And high corn fructose syrup was their silent killer that they put in underprivileged communities and communities of poverty. And then they put these commercials on TV and they get the kids to say, "Mommy, I want the Kool-Aid. I want the candy. I want this. I want this. I want this." And then it slowly starts killing you. 1 second, guys. I apologize for the silence. I want to make sure. Hunters. I knew it was something with an H. I was about to say hustlers. Hunters. If you have access to Amazon Prime or an Amazon account, go watch Hunters. It's 2 seasons. The first season came out like right before COVID, and then COVID hit, and then they waited a couple years for the second season, and then that was like the series finale. I have not finished the second season, but the first season gives the tea on high corn fructose syrup. Guys, silent killer. It is not good for us. Even people that are making like fake honey, they use the high corn fructose syrup in the fake honey. So you think you're putting honey on your skin, and honey is so healthy for you. And a lot of the honey that the United States get, 90% of it is made from high corn fructose syrup, which is not how you make honey. So be mindful of these things. It's written on the ingredients of your labels. So this is why we encourage you to read your nutrition labels. Now, in most products, it's the primary ingredient, but banned in other countries due to its relationship with high cholesterol, clogged arteries, obesity, and the onset of unwanted diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. You find high corn fructose syrup in a lot of boxed meals like mashed potatoes, stovetop stuffing, and a lot of vitamins and gummies. That is one thing that bothers me about vitamins and gummies. Like, you will find vitamins that are like, "Oh, it's chewables," or, give it to your kids because it looks like candy. But the first ingredient is high corn fructose syrup. So how are you supposed to be putting a nutrient in my body, but the primary ingredient in that vitamin is high corn fructose syrup, the thing that's very killing us off? Wake up. Realize that you can get vitamins from whole foods, from the fruits and veggies that you eat, the nuts and seeds, the whole grains, the seeded fruits, not man-made fruits, seeded fruits. Guys, I'm like, I know I'm going in, and people might feel like it's aggressive or it's too blunt, but it's trying to get you guys to wake the fuck up and stop putting these things in your body that you know that's not bad for you, but it's so good and I have a taste for it and I don't know. It's because your body's addicted to it. Addicted, whether you want to believe it or not, because your body wouldn't be craving it if it wasn't addicted to it. Let's wake up. Another food that's banned in other countries that we consume a lot in the United States, it's pork. Yeah, pork, guys. What you get from the pig, your pork chops, your bacon, your chitterlings. A common growth hormone used in pigs called ractopamine has been banned by many countries. Why? Because it helps with mass producing pigs, which helps you. Now, think about that, mass produce. We're running out of meat options. So they're making these pigs and then they're stuffing them with all these hormones so they can grow pretty quickly. So then they can put those meats in the stores for you. Now, what does ractopamine does? It gives you increased heart rates. It leads to heart disease. It's associated with almost every single cancer known to man. It's associated with dementia and Alzheimer's. Didn't I just name a lot of the things that are killing off your parents and your grandparents and your uncles and your aunties and your cousins? Wake the fuck up. Wake up. Simple. Wake up, guys. So this goes for not only pork, but this ractopamine is also added to steaks, all forms of ground beef. So this now only goes from the pork. Now we going over to the cow. So now the cow now has this. So that means any type of meat that comes from the cow, in addition to the milk that's coming from the cow. So all your dairy products now has this item in it, guys. Farm raised salmon. Why y'all adding this to farm raised salmon? It's not in like going out into the Atlantic Ocean in a fresh catch, wild, good old ocean water salmon. Farm raised salmon, which is the one that most people in our culture can afford. It's the ones that we're eating. When you first wake up and you're like, oh girl, let me give me some salmon. I'm not doing catfish and tilapia no more. I'm a salmon type, not salmon. I'm a salmon type chick. You consuming this horrible ingredient as well. And chlorinated chicken. I bet you didn't know that they chlorinated chicken. Yes, chlorinate. The same chemical that's in pools that's supposed to clean the pool so it can clean out all the bacteria for all the little kids that done pissed, farted, spit, whatever in the pool to keep that clean. They're putting that in the chicken. They put that in the chicken, guys, before they put it in the stores. So you're now consuming chlorine. It's already bad enough that you're not supposed to indulge your skin. Like melanin skin is not supposed to be in chlorine like that. Our natural hair is not privy to chlorine. That's why when you see, for those of you who used to get perms, if you still get perms, when I was younger, I used to get relaxers before I was woken up to having natural hair and how beautiful my natural hair texture is. But back then we were conforming to Western ideologies, having straight hair, long fake nails. We need our hair to not look curled or coiled or nappy. We're not supposed to get in chlorinated water when you have a perm or relax. Well, let me not say perm because people get that confused too. Perms help your hair get curly. Relaxers help your hair get straight. So when we put relaxers in our hair, you're not supposed to go swimming, right? Because it's going to mess up your hair. But as a kid, you're not realizing why. Because you have chemical in your hair and then you're getting in chemical water. So your hair is now going to fall out or it's going to damage your hair. So now you're eating chlorinated chicken. Like, where they do that at? Where did they do that at? In the United States. But yet, Black people love them some chicken. We call it the dirty bird for a reason, guys. You're not supposed to be consuming these type of things. It takes me back to like Church's Chicken, how they used to have like the big ass drum legs. As a kid, I'm thinking, ooh, I love Popeyes, that Louisiana kick in, but I want to go to Church's because the legs are bigger. I can get more meat. It wasn't the best move. Another banned food, sodas. Even though you probably already guessed that it will be full of things like sugar and artificial flavorings, what you will not expect though is that a lot of common citrus sodas contain brominated vegetable oil, which is BVO. Now, the bromelain is the key ingredient in BVO, and this ingredient has been linked to irritated skin, loss of memory, and headaches. So, skin issues. So that could be eczema, dermatitis, acne, just drying out your skin, just giving you like really scaly type skin, but you don't know where it's coming from. You go into the dermatologist, they're like, oh, throw some oatmeal on it. I'm gonna give you this ointment. You're gonna be okay. Cortisone cream. But all you have to do is like let go of the shit that you're putting in your body, and then it goes away. So common sodas that has this ingredient in it is Sundrop, Mountain Dew, Gatorade, and Sunkist. So when I saw Mountain Dew, this wasn't new to me. I learned at a young age that Mountain Dew and Squirt is not supposed to be for kids' consumption. It causes young girls to develop early. So young girls in high school developing breasts is causing young girls to have their menstrual cycles early. It was causing younger boys to grow hair quicker, to have an imbalance in their hormones. It's because of the items that's being added into the soda, guys. When I saw Gatorade, I was taken aback. I'm like, Gatorade? The official drink of athletes for the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, National Baseball League, NBL? Like, why is Gatorade their official sponsored athletic drink? But it leads to loss of memory, headaches, and irritated skin. And then it starts to make you think about like athletes that have brain issues. Like you hear about football, the consistently tackling and that causes brain issues, right? Muhammad Ali, rope-a-doper, you on the rope letting people tear up your face, and then once they tired, you go knock them out, but that brain damage did something to him over time. But now I'm thinking on an even different level. So now the stuff that y'all drinking too is contributing to brain loss. And I think about like how many older athletes have brain issues and Alzheimer's and diseases like that, dementia, memory loss. It also takes me to even my own family members, my maternal grandmother who is suffering from Alzheimer's after winning 3 cancer battles. The chemotherapy and the radiation over time affected her brain. But then I'm thinking she was a lover of certain sodas that she drank religiously. Did that also contribute to it too over all these years? Things to make you think. Another banned food in other countries, but here in the United States, cereal. Yes, cereal. I know y'all looking like cereal. Why cereal? Okay. Butylated. Butylated. Let me pronounce that correctly. Butylated hydroxytoluene, BHT, is an additive used in some cereal products to preserve the shelf life of the product. We mentioned that earlier. There's a lot of genetically modified objects, GMOs, that are added to foods, guys, in the fields while you're farming, and to things that are made in factories and manufactured to put on shelf life, to give you longer shelf life. If you go in the store, I dare you to go into a store, right? Go to like the top shelf or whatever shelf you can reach and reach for something on that shelf. Then challenge yourself and take that same item and maybe put it to the back of the row. And then go back to the store in a week or 2 weeks or a month. And I bet you that same box is going to be sitting there. And you're thinking like, damn, well, how long can this stay on the shelf? For years, guys. 3, 4, 5 years sometimes, because they've added GMOs to it. But if you go pick a fruit off the vine, from the ground, from a tree, wherever you're getting the fruit from, that fruit only has a certain amount of life in it. And after so many days, it starts wilting and it starts dying. So why are these ingredients on the shelves doing that? Because they have chemicals in it to make them sustain. It's all capitalism, guys. Wake up. Now with this BHT, it has effect to carcinogenic effects. You have carcinogens high in red meats. That's why I don't understand why the Cancer Association and the Heart Disease Association has recipes on their website with beef and pork and shrimp and all these other things that have carcinogens in it. And carcinogens is one of the leading things that you see in your body when you have cancer. So why are we still consuming it? Not only does BHT have carcinogenic effects, but there is linked to kidney and thyroid problems. Thyroid issues is a big issue in our culture. It's a really big issue in our culture. We got to wake up, guys. BHT is most often found in Frosted Flakes, Honey Bunches of Oats, Rice Krispies, Fruity Pebbles, Fruit Loops. I felt some type of way when I read this because when I was younger, Fruity Pebbles and Fruit Loops was my jam. Okay? But what was even more my jam, which is my daddy's jam, shout out to my daddy. He used to make Frosted Flakes. He would cut up one banana and slice up the banana in it and then sprinkle some sugar on top. I thought that was one of the best meals popping. And see, I'm allergic to milk, so I couldn't drink cow milk when I was younger. They tried to give me goat milk. I kind of rejected that too. So they just stopped giving me milk altogether, and they would have to give me like a specialized vitamin formula. But I kind of laugh about it because that was like my body telling my mom, like, bruh, I ain't about this life that everybody else got going on, because it leads to all these other diseases and stuff. And so I ended up being like diagnosed with being lactose intolerant, where I can have items that had milk ingredient in it, but it would make me really still sick when I ate it, and I didn't care, and I would still eat it because why? It was good. Everybody else was eating it. But to think like Fruity Pebbles, like these are like kid cereal. Like these are the things that they're putting in front of the cartoon commercials. Like we're watching cartoons on a Saturday, it go to a commercial. It's normally about adult toy that they're trying to get you to buy, or some type of food item that a kid is going to want, or a Chuck E. Cheese or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would y'all sell that to kids? Honey Bunches of Oats, they are like infamously known for being like the healthy cereal. Switch to Honey Bunches of Oats. It lowers cholesterol and it lowers this. No, okay, it might lower that, but guess what? They add on this other shit. So, another banned food, candy. I know some of y'all not like this. Like, well, what are we supposed to do for Halloween? Get them other shit. Hand out other things. But candy. Let's talk about just Skittles for an example. Skittles, it contains yellow 5 and yellow 6, and it also contains red 40. Now, yellow 5 and 6 are artificial food dyes, but they have the potential to have negative side effects. This includes hyperactivity in children. So when you say, oh, my child has ADHD, they need Ritalin. You know, my child can't focus, they need this. Or they have too much energy, they need this. Stop giving them this bullshit. It'll go away. It might take a little time, but it'll go away. Detox them, cleanse them, feed them the whole nutritious foods. It will go away. I've been able to reverse multiple diseases. I've talked about that several seasons now. It's possible, guys. Don't let people tell you that it's not. It's possible. It is so possible to reverse the diseases and illness that you have, even things that you're born with at birth. If it doesn't have like you missing a limb or you missing a body part, you can proactively work towards things. There are people that have mental disorders, learning disabilities, that would never be able to walk, talk, do certain things, that are able to do these things now. I think about like Big Sean. Big Sean, shout out to him, a rapper. Jhené Aiko's the father of her most recent child. Big Sean's last album, he has a song that he talks about where he had a heart issue and he went to these different doctors. But then he looked into some stuff and he took a little bit of magnesium, and the magnesium cured his heart issue. And then on, he and his family did not fuck with Western medicine. Magnesium, a heart issue he could never get rid of. And he took magnesium for a small amount of time and it was able to reverse it. Guys, this shit is real. You have to believe it. Stop letting society tell you that you can't heal and save yourself, especially when it's in our culture. Herbalism, naturopathy, holistic foods has been healing our people for centuries. Centuries. African American slave medicine. Slave. I don't even like this word because it's really enslaved people. But if we got medicine going back into that time, that's holistic. Come on now, guys. It works. And this is why they don't want us to be on it, because it works. And if we're healed and we're clean of our mind, hearts, bodies, guess what? We could think for ourselves. Capitalism will fail. Pharmaceutical companies will fail because we don't need them. Hospitals will not need doctors and nurses as prevalent as they do now because a lot of this stuff can go away. But you got to read and you got to believe and you got to actually work towards these things. I promise you guys, it is so fulfilling to have such a healthy lifestyle and don't have to worry about this bullshit no more. And so going on with Skittles, Red 40, another art, it keeps everything red, the pinks and the reds and all the candies and the sodas and stuff. It's in most common products that are in melanated homes, but cause cancer and cognitive decline. Go look up Red 40, side effects of Red 40 and what it does. Then go look up what Red 40 is in. Little Debbie Swiss Rolls, Pop-Tarts, Jell-O, Gatorade, Powerade, Skittles, Twizzlers, you name it. It's in everything, guys. Everything that has abundant shelf life in grocery stores. Concentrated drinks, Hawaiian punch, your favorite sodas that you drank when you were younger, your favorite juices. It's all in there. Like I used to be a firm Minute Maid drinker. Back in high school, they were $1.25 in the vending machines. And I thought I was the best thing popping when I would get that. Like, it was like a triple berry one. And then it was like a cranberry apple one. I thought that was like the best thing popping. I tried to drink one of those like 2 years ago and I damn near like spit it out because I can taste the difference now that my body does not consume the high corn fructose syrup and those red dyes and those yellow dyes and all those different things. You could taste it and that shit tastes like straight chalk now. It is not delectable. And I used to crave and love that stuff when I was younger. That shit tastes like straight, like you could tell like it's something that's made that's not supposed to be put into the body. Even like the aftertaste it left like this chalky, like thick, it's almost like a thick kind of spit that's made after. It was weird. I'm just like, bruh, not for me. Another banned food, milk. Milk in the US contains a concerning hormone called RBGH. It's the recombinant bovine growth hormone. According to the American Cancer Society, this hormone is a man-made product meant to increase how much milk cows produce. However, it is associated with cancer and memory loss. I've talked about in previous seasons and previous episodes, even this season. I feel bad for cows because if you watch What the Health or Cowspiracy, you see what they do to these cows. They literally rape the cows, force them to get pregnant. Then they start pumping them up with all this stuff. Once they have these babies, guys, and even while they're pregnant, they're hooked to machines that are pumping the milk. And these machines are going nonstop all day. So imagine being a person that attaches a device to both of your nipples and pumps at them all day. I know women that breastfeed that said breastfeeding can be painful. Pumping and trying to get everything out can be painful. So imagine that you have a metal or stainless steel machine pumping at your nipples. You start chafing, you start bleeding. That leads to infection. That leads to pus. That leads to bacteria that is now being pumped into the milk. The cow can't say, stop, I'm in pain, I can't take no more. And we steadily just take it from these cows until they die. A lot of these cows form cancer because of the hormones they're being injected with. They cut that cancer off the meat. They pasteurize the milk to remove that cancer out the milk. But you can't clean all that stuff up quickly. Just because you don't see it no more doesn't mean it's still not in the item, in the product. But yet we send this out to the stores and we eat these things and we drink these things. And then you wonder why cancer becomes prevalent in your family. Memory loss becomes prevalent in your family. It's not something that just happens to the body, guys. I know they literally had a woman on Instagram that went viral a couple of weeks ago. She made it to her 117th birthday and she was still driving. It was a Black woman that had been plant-based since she was 30. She could still drive, guys, at 117 years old. No issues with her memory. Think about it. Wake up. Next product. And this is going to be the last product that we actually talk about. I just want to give you a few items that are common that we use all the time. But again, I mentioned there's 100 banned food, guys. So do your research. The last product we're going to talk about today is bread products. They use a whitening agent called ADA, azodicarbonamide, which can also be found in your favorite yoga mat or in the bottom of your shoes. Wait a goddamn. Yes, I'm looking over my shoulders for those of you who are looking at me on YouTube and Spotify. Why is something being put in our foods that are on the bottom of our shoe and on our yoga mats? Although this ingredient was approved by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration in the United States, ADA has been banned in Europe, and the World Health Organization says that ADA has been linked to skin irritation and other respiratory problems. So bronchitis, asthma, chronic coughs, guys, esophagus diseases and issues. Now, this ADA also contains an additive called potassium bromate, which causes tumors and carcinogen effects. Tumors. Cancer. If you're a woman, fibroids and cysts. Guys, I don't have any more times to say wake it up. Wake it up, wake it up, wake it up. Common bread items this ADA and this potassium bromate are very common in all sliced breads that are not made fresh from whole grains. Frozen bread products, so your Texas toast, your biscuits, pastry items, so croissants, cakes, cinnamon rolls, cookies, Ritz crackers. When I saw Ritz crackers, guys, I got sad. Ritz crackers was one of those things growing up when my dad would make gumbo and chili. People would want bread or cornbread. I always give me that red box. I want the Ritz buttery ass crackers to hit this chili, and it's going to be so great for my soul. That really broke my heart because I would get in trouble when I was younger because you know how in Ritz crackers they come in rows, like in the brown paper. I would literally go steal like a row to myself and eat it, and my mom would get so mad at me, like, you cannot eat that whole row by yourself. And I wonder why. Look at what it's doing. Also in biscuits, so Pillsbury Doughboy, old school biscuits you got to hit against and pop, has this ingredient in it. Also the I can't think of them now. The honey rolls is like the little square honey rolls in the orange wrapper. Those have them. Chips. Like, goddamn it, I thought chips was some dehydrated or some fried potatoes. Why are we putting this in chips? Chips? And that's a common snack that many people eat. It is inside of all the vending machines at schools, K through 12 schools, private schools, colleges. You see chips everywhere. Sandwich shops, Subways. Like, why would you put this item in a very common food item that people in America love? Because we're not reading the labels. We're being ignorant. We're not wanting to wake up and see what's really going on. We don't believe in conspiracy theories. We don't believe that capitalism is a thing. We don't believe white supremacy is a thing. Wake up. To end this out, guys, and before I go into my recap, read your labels. It is so important to read your labels because the crazy thing about the FDA that I can't really be mad at them for approving stuff because they're giving you what's in the label. They tell you on the label what's in the food item. So that's pretty much saying it's up to your ass to determine if you want to eat this. And if you're choosing to want to eat it and consume it, That's on you. They ain't got nothing to do with us. You see what the ingredients are. You can look it up yourself and see what those things mean. But we have been conditioned as a culture to not look at our labels, to not read them. We just know, oh, this is what mama used, and grab it and throw it in the basket or in the cart. Read your labels, guys. They're telling us what's in here. We're just not wanting to accept it and still not wanting to believe what it can do to our bodies, even though we see what it's physically doing to our own bodies. We see what it's mentally and emotionally and spiritually doing to our bodies, our loved ones. It's time to wake up, guys. Be environmentally aware of what you have going on. To recap, we talked about the fourth eight frequencies of elevation, which is environmental awareness. And we're talking about, are you addicted to banned foods? You might be addicted and don't realize it. It's okay, because guess what? I once was addicted to banned foods. Even in my vegan days, I have had to let go of some things because I see the red 40 dye. I see the yellow 6 dye. I see these random ADA chemicals popping up. I see the high corn fructose syrup. And it's like, damn, it's like I can't eat anything, but I can. Anything that comes from the earth. You can still season it and hook it up as long as those seasonings don't have these other chemicals and things in it. So be aware of more herbs and spices instead of just focusing on seasonings. All right, guys. So to give you some announcements, we have a lot of events coming up in June. Shout out to the Sober Black Girl Club. I am an executive board of director member for them, and I will be having an event on Tuesday, June 6th, representing and kicking off Pride Month for LGBTQIA. Love my community, but we're going to be talking about alcoholism in our Energies formula to kick cramps, as we have an alcoholic chapter and talks about our alcoholism. So we will be talking about that at that event for the LGBT members of the Sober Black Girl Club, but you are more than welcome to join, and it is for free. You'll be able to go and get that information if you follow us. We're also going to be doing another event with the Sober Black Girl Club on June 30th for their all melanated women's group on a Friday. So if you identify as a melanated woman or a person of color that is a woman, then you will be able to get that same good tea. On Saturday, June 10th, Dignified Menstruation in Los Angeles, California at the LA School of Comedy, we will be hosting a workshop for Kick Cramps Ass, a mini workshop and vending for them for that event. On June 17th, if you're located in Las Vegas, we will be at the annual Cities Juneteenth Festival. Shout out to June 19th, 1865. Yes, if you saw the beginning, I am from Houston, Texas. So Galveston is near and dear to my heart. Juneteenth is near and dear to my heart. So I'm so excited to celebrate with my people as we express our freedom and continue to work on being free. All right. I feel like I'm missing an event. Oh, the last Saturdays of each month. If you're into reading books, you're a book lover, you're a sapiosexual, I host a book club through Analog Dope here in Las Vegas, California. Las Vegas, Nevada is the only Black bookstore out here, the Analog Dope store. But we also have a virtual option. So if you're not in Las Vegas, you can sign up with the book club and log in virtually to join us, because each month we do read books from Black authors. So this month we are going to be reading on Juneteenth in celebration of Juneteenth. So definitely check us out there and keep up with us, because we have some other events going on in June that will be released within the next week. So be sure to subscribe to us, like our podcast, share it with somebody that you feel like can learn from this and be beneficial. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, but we're on all other platforms, including Anchor, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts. All right, guys. We want to give a big shout out to J Jig Cicero for the banging intro. I will leave her information in the description of the bio in case you want your own branded music for not only a podcast, but for your business in general, or for yourself and anything that you have going on. And then shout out to the solar eclipse for my wonderful, wonderful wrap jewelry, guys. I am a crystal lover. It is a part of my journey. Our last episode, we talked about metaphysical methods. So let me show my rings as well. I keep crystals on me. It is a part of my journey and it has been beneficial. So I will leave their information as well, because if you use code KCA at checkout, you will get a special discount. And I just want to send gratitude to our wonderful listeners for tuning in globally. We're not only in the United States, we have made it globally to multiple contents. I apologize, guys, to multiple continents. So we are so grateful for that and for you for tuning in to get all of this wonderful tea. So again, guys, we want to send you a beautiful Wealth and Wellness Wednesday, manifesting a positive, productive, and peaceful remainder of the day. And we'll be talking to you soon. Peace.